right, this is another edition of Revolution Rising. I'm Dustin Sherman, one of the hosts. To my left here, we got Scott. Excuse me. We got Scott Seddon, and we've got Casey Pate down below us. So we want to welcome you back to the show.
Howdy, howdy.
And it's been a few weeks since we've been on. The holidays kind of crept up on us and kind of took over. And I've had a cold for like the last month. So welcome aboard, guys. Welcome back. And we got some stuff to talk about tonight, huh?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Happy New Year. Let's kick some commie ass this year, okay?
Yeah, let's hope so. Well, we had
Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year, everyone.
well, you know, we've started off the new year in somewhat better shape, considering that we won the House. So, you know, we've got some people in there that are fighting for us in there. How many is yet to be known, but they just put in Kevin McCarthy as the Speaker of the House, and just kind of want to find out some of your thoughts on that and the battle that led up to that. Casey, if you want to go first, go ahead.
Sure. I watched as things unfolded pretty closely, and you know when they'd go on break, and some of the other legislators that got up and spoke, you know, Kat Kamak, Chip Roy. Honestly, okay, Kevin McCarthy has formed some bad alliances and also, you know, promoted some bad legislation like the bump stock bans, and was also at the World Economic Forum, which we do have some terrible international policy when it comes to not restoring, but protecting our freedoms and our American way of life. But speaking to the Kevin McCarthy, you know, I'm a Trump supporter and everything. I went to a Trump rally. He actually pointed at me, and that was the first time I ever felt like meeting a president or having that aha moment, like it was Elvis. I cried when he walked out. I cried when he left. But
It's like, I know you.
that's the one. She's trouble.
Right.
But he's endorsing these people and reaching a little far back into the states in the elections. But back to the McCarthy, I think there was a small few that didn't want to compromise on their stance, and I commend them for that. However, and I love Jim Jordan. I wish he would have got the seat or wanted it. He's a phenomenal legislator and head of the Freedom Caucus.
Well, and he wanted to be the chair of the Judiciary Committee, and I think that he really wanted that, and I think that that's great. But here's the thing: so he would have taken the speakership if they would have voted for him, and there's evidence with that because McCarthy wanted him to basically make a public statement saying he didn't want the speakership. Well, he never did that, and he told someone behind closed doors that he would take it if he was voted in. So the thing is with McCarthy, here's the thing: he's voted a lot with the left. He voted for sending money to Ukraine, you know, more billions of dollars of our money, the taxpayers' money. And I mean, it you know, we've become basically a faucet that just prints money and sends to Ukraine anymore. And I think that that's where, well, there's a couple things. There's that. He also spoke against Trump during the January 6th stuff. He supported the January 6th hearings, which is a joke.
Right.
He hasn't done anything for the prisoners of January 6th to help with due process. They're basically locked down 24/7. They're not allowed to do anything, have visitors, or nothing. So
I heard that there's less than 30 right now still in jail.
well, you know, and that the thing is the ones that are still in there, they're locked down. They can't do nothing.
They can't do shit, and still there's no charges or nothing like that
No.
against them.
So it's, you know, being accused of something, and and put in jail or prison or whatever it is that they're in with no due process. That is as un-American as you can get. And
Amen.
the people that are running our Congress right now, that should be their number one focus. I hate to say it, but that's, I mean, I know we got wars going on and everything else, and we've got crap going on, but our people here matter more than right now than anyone else. And if we're going to lock somebody up without due process, any of us, me, you, Casey, Scott, any of us can get locked up with the same parameters. And it's bullshit. I mean, we're living in one of the scariest times on the planet where we can just disappear and not anyone have a clue where we're at. That's just the way it is. I mean, there's
Well, look what happened, Andrew Tate.
Yeah, and I don't know the full story on that. I guess he's in the hospital right now. I don't know if you've seen that or not on Twitter, but he got transported to a hospital or something. So the thing is the guy speaks a lot of truth. He might have gotten in trouble for some stupid crap over there or whatever. I don't know the details on it. But you know, it seems like when somebody starts to put out the truth on certain things,
They disappear.
They disappear. They get silenced. Mm-hmm. They get, you know, it's the one thing that happened with this McCarthy thing that really, I was against McCarthy. I think he's a rhino. I don't think that he's from California for one, and not saying everyone from California is bad, but you know, being someone from California, he never helped the rest of the country out like he should have. He's never done anything that has been pro-America, at least that I've ever seen. But here's the thing: the reason Matt Gaetz and those 20 people, Lauren Boebert, the reason that they were pushing back so hard against him is because there was concessions that they wanted him to make. Basically, they had their list of demands, and he wasn't gonna keep them. And there was like 11 votes, and finally he started giving in. So you started seeing different people from that 20 that started voting for him. And Matt Gaetz and Lauren Boebert, and there's like, I think 7 or 6 that were the final holdouts that finally said, okay, we'll go ahead and vote for him. They were going to fly in 2 other Republicans that weren't there to basically put him over the top. And that's whenever Matt Gaetz and Boebert just basically said, okay, we'll go ahead and vote. Because they were going to get, you know, they were going to be outvoted anyway. But
unfucking real that they could even get away with doing that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think I watched, what was it, the 14th vote, and then I turned it off after 3 days of doing this. And then he got it on the 15th vote. One thing is who they were pushing for the McDonald. I commend him because, you know, he's a first-time congressman. However, I felt like they were just putting in their token black person. You know, was that the person who was best for the job? You know, and I didn't know the backstory with Jim Jordan.
Well, the one guy that got pissed off really bad, and I guess he punched a wall and got his knuckles bloodied or something. And he's kind of shown his true colors now, is Dan Crenshaw. That guy's a joke. Crenshaw's a joke.
He is a little bitch, is what he is.
He has done a lot of stuff that's gone against the American people. He's voted against the Second Amendment more than once. Yep. He voted for the bump stock ban. He voted for all kinds of crap, and he is he's really shown his true colors. And yeah, he basically called. He's walked this back now, but he basically called those 20 people that were fighting against McCarthy terrorists. And right. I don't give a shit what his definition of terrorist is, but
using rhetoric of the left.
The whole point of having a debate is you're not going to agree on everything. And the 20 people that were in there that were pushing back against McCarthy, to get what they wanted, they had to push. And I think that there's a list of stuff, I seen it on Twitter by a staffer somewhere, and the stuff that we basically gained from that fight is stuff that we need. The January 6th committee, there's stuff in there that's going to kind go against that. Then they're going to get rid of the 187,000 IRS agents. That needed to happen. There's all kinds of stuff that the American people wanted, and McCarthy wasn't going to push against that. So, or wasn't going to help, bring some of that stuff in. So I'm glad that the 20 stuck their neck out, and I'm glad that they were able to get some concessions from it. But
You know what? I don't want a congressional body that's always going to just go with the flow. I
Right.
want people in there that are going to stand their ground and say, no, this is against the Constitution, or this is
Yeah.
reckless spending. Or, I do want to mention that over that period of a few days, we didn't get the new Congress sworn in, and so on and so forth. However, over in the Senate, they passed 3.75 billion to go to Ukraine. We're up in like over 80,000, 80 million, 80
Billion.
billion.
And
Yes.
McCarthy supports funding Ukraine. That's another
Mhm.
thing.
You know what? These guys
this
are getting kickbacks from that,
100%.
riding on the skirt tails of the taxpayers.
Listen, man. Anybody who's standing up against the norm right now politically is a superstar, is a hero. Because all these fucking guys on the left and right, they're tyrants. Like you said, they're getting kickbacks. They don't give a shit about the American people anymore. It's all in their own self-serving interests. Everything, every vote that they put towards a bill or any type of legislation, it's all about what kicks back into their
Mhm.
fucking pockets. And we need people to start going in there like these 20 people and just start fucking raising hell. Like, I'm proud of these patriots. That's exactly what they are.
I
Well-
think we should send them a thank you note or something.
All right, I agree.
Well, the one,
Yeah.
there was a couple people that
Not a bad idea.
there's a couple people that we thought were really fighting for us, and through this speakership battle, we've kind of come to learn that maybe they're not who they say they are. One of them was Marjorie Taylor Greene. She was for McCartney right off the bat, and she was trying to push to help get other people to put him in there. And Marjorie
Because of
Taylor,
Trump.
yeah,
Because of Trump, yeah.
well, Marjorie Taylor Greene has been to a lot of different rallies and stuff like that. She's pretty well known, and she's kind of a shit stirrer whenever everything kind of comes to, speaking your mind and everything else. But this one, she was wrong. I don't think that McCarthy is the guy
Yeah.
that we really want in there,
No.
and I think that the only reason she was pushing him was because Trump backed him. But yeah, I think that Trump was a little out of touch on this one too, honestly. Unless
Listen, Trump has
McCarthy
made a
owns him
lot-
something.
Trump is awesome. He's helped wake up this country quite a bit. One thing about the guy, he's human. He's made some mistakes, not perfect. This one is questionable. The bump stocks is questionable. Pushing the vaccines. He's done some things that have maybe questioning. He's done a lot of good to help wake up the American people, but he has so much influence on people. And with her, that was all about influence. But we need to break away. We need to break away from the establishment. The only way to stop the bleeding in this country is to break away from the establishment and get people back into politics that are fist fighting, like our founding fathers did, to get shit done.
Right.
This gentleman Pat, shaking each other's hands. The left, the Republicans, the Democrats are seeing. They're laughing, they're hooting, they're hollering together. It's like, are you kidding me? This country is on the verge of going down the toilet, and these people, they're acting like they're at some social event there.
Well,
Disgusting.
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to accelerate it to, get us to where we're either China, Russia, whoever it is that they feel like we need to be like. I think China is probably the closest thing to that. But
Buy ammo.
yeah, I mean, I have a friend of mine that's he's a Russian guy. He used to actually co-host a show with me, and he sent me some stuff that is pretty shocking. Actually, it's stuff to do with Russia, and he thinks and he's been in the military. He's a vet. He thinks that probably in the next 2-3 months we're going to see something big out of Russia. He doesn't know what it is, but supposedly Putin's sick, so we may be getting something. The thing is Putin's not going to want to die without leaving a legacy. So don't be surprised if we start seeing something out of Putin in the short term. And supposedly he's got cancer or leukemia or something.
Yeah, he has some form of cancer.
Yeah. So if that's the case, don't be surprised if we don't start seeing more activity from, Russia trying to take out Ukraine more, which in turn makes us spend more money over there, which is kind of disheartening when we're not taking care of our own people.
Right.
Yeah. And $9 eggs.
$9, yeah. Get some chickens while you're getting ammo.
Well,
yeah, it's the truth.
So over the holiday, I did watch briefly as the Prime Minister of Ukraine. He came over and addressed Congress. Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris were in the background, just delighted and so happy, and it was just so disheartening knowing they've been, all these people have their flags up, support Ukraine. We have been. They've been doing our laundry for years, and to see the Prime Minister get up and address not only the congressional body, but the Americans, and just with his broken English. I know he speaks better English than that, oh, thank you. That's all he said for 15 minutes was thank you to the American people. Why? Because we made you a million billionaire,
well,
because you're doing laundry
and dressed like a fucking schlep.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too. Didn't even wear a suit over here, but he did wear a suit when he met with Klaus Schwab. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but he was wearing a suit when he met with him.
Unbelievable.
The one thing
that he needs somebody to invest that money with,
Well,
right?
Well, there's go ahead.
Oh, some of the panhandlers and stuff, they dress, that's their job, and they dress like a bum and then make their money, and then they go home and live in better houses than we do. Or, take a cab to a different part of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
No, I think we're basically living in a matrix right now. Nothing that we see is real.
Right.
There's also sorts of deep fakes and all that kind of crap out there. We know that Biden, whenever he addresses the country, he's not doing it from the White House. He's doing it from a studio across the way.
Which I don't understand.
Everything's
What's the
fake.
logic?
Well, I think that. Well, think about it. I mean, with
Kamala Harris is the president.
Well, yeah, he keeps calling her president. That's pretty funny, but no, I think the reason that they do it in a studio is because it gives them a little bit more leeway when he fucks up. They can edit it better. I'm sure that with the deep fake technology that's out there. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the deep fake stuff of like Tom Cruise, and I mean, there's guys out there on TikTok that
John Wayne. They can do a whole movie without John Wayne.
Well, I mean,
so
if they put him in a studio, they have a lot more capability of being able to screw
power.
us.
Yeah.
If you guys see, so there's two different. There's Biden, and then there's his stand-in Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys seen these two characters?
The difference in the earlobes.
Yeah,
one is,
connected. The other one's, what do you think?
Oh, now they're on to us. He'll get that fixed.
Well,
right,
exactly. I think what's probably happened is I think that at least this is a rumor that's gone around for a while. I think the original Joe Biden died. I think I don't know exactly what happened, or they couldn't control him or something. So he's probably dead. And because you rarely ever, the same one that we always see on TV is the same guy. But 5 years ago, that guy was a different guy. That's with the earlobes, and you rarely see that guy back on TV. It's always Bumbling Joe, and supposedly there's a name and everything that's someone supposedly knows the name of the guy.
They got a babbling idiot for a body double.
Stand-in.
He does a
The
damn good
president.
job. I gotta tell you something, man. He's a babbling fool, this guy that they got standing in for him. But that's scary stuff because you never know.
I'd like to know what drugs the guy's on. Like, because he's obviously got Alzheimer's. He's dementia, dementia Joe.
Ritalin, probably.
Um, let's talk a little bit about this. Let's talk a little bit about this football player that had his little issue. So I was kind of doing some research and digging around and finding out, just how many athletes have died. There's been over 1,000, like 1,500 or something like that, around the world, not just in the States, but around the world, that have dropped dead on the playing field. Whether it's hockey, whether it's soccer, football, different athletes around the world are they're dying at higher rates than they've ever died.
Bro, it's adult sudden death syndrome. Don't you know that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But here's the thing. The guy that just had this thing on live TV, there's goods and bads about this. If you notice, whenever this all happened, what's one of the things that's been taken away from national television and everything else? And that's prayer, right? So the good thing about this happening is it kind of brought prayer back into the mainstream. So people were praying, that he was going to be okay. And I mean, it didn't matter if you were left or right. You didn't want the guy to die. None of us do. But the fact that it brought prayer back kind of in the national spotlight again is a good thing, because one thing that we've become in this nation is we're godless. We don't have the same religious aspects as we used to have. Remember when we were like in elementary school and stuff? God was a big thing, and that's what a lot of our Constitution was based off of, was God and religion.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
If this keeps happening and keeps happening on national TV, what's that going to do? It's going to drive people to church. I mean, it may be small to start with, but if there is such thing as a power in prayer, this guy is surviving that. It's a huge thing, and people put their faith in stuff like that. So, I don't know. I think that what they're calling, I can't remember what the hell the name of it was. I read it, but they're saying that he got hit at just the right time to where his heart stopped. And I'll tell you right now, I think it was like 0.04 of a second or something like that could have happened. And if you watch the hit, yeah, I'm not saying he didn't get hit hard. He got
barely touched.
He got hit like most NFL players
contact.
get hit. I mean, it was a glancing blow. It wasn't straight on.
No.
And if you could tell by whenever he got hit, he spun. But I don't know. Did a blood clot get knocked loose? I don't know. It just seems weird. It just seems pretty weird that he hit the guy. He got back up. Reached for his helmet. He appeared to be there, and then took a couple steps back, and out he went. And there was another NFL player that had made the statement that people that needed to be vaccinated or they needed to go to jail, that guy died. And I can't
38 years old.
Yep, that guy died. He put
Too many coincidences. And the one thing
way
they say
too
that
many.
Way too many. And the one thing they're finding with this vaccine is it's causing blood clots. So like you said, did it knock a blood clot loose? It went into his heart, caused him to have a heart attack on the field? That's very possible.
They're not going to release that
No.
anyways.
Nope.
We're only getting half truths.
Rumor I heard was that the FBI was actually outside his hospital room.
And I think that they were there to think about this. The guy dies of this hit, right? So the NFL's been around for what, 80 years, 60 years, whatever it is. It's been a long, long time. And no one has died from a hit like that, ever.
Right. Well, that's what they're saying. They're already, before a coroner, before anybody, saying it was the hit, it was the hit. That's what you do when you're jumping to conclusions or trying to cover something up.
Well, think about this. If he's in the hospital and it's had as much coverage as he's had, and he dies, imagine that hospital getting swamped with everything and all the rumors and all the other crap that goes on along with it. So I think that they were there to, I'm sure that they were there to, if he died, usher the body out of there. I mean, they're not going to want a regular coroner doing an autopsy
Right.
on a guy that could possibly, have a reason for dying other than the hit. So
Right.
I don't know. I think that it was a big thing. I'm glad the guy survived it. Um, but I think that hopefully that's a wake up call for a lot of people. Hopefully that they understand that. Well, there was there was another thing too, and this was on Twitter, and I don't know if it's true or not. I have no clue, no way to verify it. But supposedly the guy who gave all the shots to the team had posted on Twitter that he checked out healthy and everything else, and that he got the shot, and it was like a booster or whatever. But it's only been a few weeks. It hasn't even been that long.
The
So,
7th booster?
or the
All
12th,
right.
or I don't know. But I'm not saying that it is a shot. I'm just saying that there's a lot of coincidences lately of people that have been vaccinated that have died.
Or 30-year-old, healthy 30-year-olds having heart conditions. And also something that's new in medicine or in postmortem is the long thrombosis, the long blood clots they've never seen before.
Yeah.
Yep.
The coroners have. It's something new that just came out. That just started happening.
Well, I think as humans evolve and stuff, our bodies change and they find ways to adapt and everything like this. But the stuff that they're finding in people is not something that the human body normally does.
Right.
I think that, and if you watch the video, died suddenly or whatever, at the very end of the video, they're doing an autopsy on someone and they're trying to pump the fluid through them and everything else, and it won't go through. And then all of a sudden, a clot comes loose and it explodes. So you see how much pressure is behind it, and you're just like, holy crap! If you can't pump embalming fluid through a body, and because it's being held up by a clot like that, I mean, imagine your heart trying to pump blood through your body, trying to keep you alive. I mean, it's out there in the open. People see it. The video and the testimonies and stuff that are out there. How can you ignore it? I posted something and I subsequently deleted it, but I posted something and I had a friend up here that I know for a fact has gotten at least one shot, and he got pissed. And I'm just like, you know what? Why are you mad? I'm trying to show you the stuff that you need to pay attention to, and you getting pissed at me. And it kind of dawned on me, it's either one or two things. Either he's mad because he thinks that I'm pushing an agenda, which I'm really not. I'm concerned for people that have gotten this stuff. I'm not, it doesn't matter to me if somebody gets it and later on they pass away. I mean, that's on them because we tried to warn them, and
Dude,
we've done our job.
I've lost friends. I've lost my family over
Yep.
this. I lost my job. I left Cornell Hospital. I left the medical industry after 25 years. And I've lost members and leaders in AP3 because they got vaccinated, and I'm still anti-vax. It's crazy what this thing has done to this nation. It's divided us even further. So now we're divided by black, white, vaxxed, unvaxxed. We like to touch kids. We have morals. We're conservative. We have conservative values. We have liberal values. We don't want to touch kids. We believe in the Bible. We believe in Satan. We want to teach Satan in school now. It's fucking insane, what they're doing. And everything that they're doing is part of a plan. And that's why us as Americans and as patriots need to come together, need to start organizing, because this is not going to stop until they get to our front door and start knocking at it, because the weapons we have, or the ammunition we have, or the rations that we've put aside, or we have too many chickens, whatever the case may be. Everything they're doing is part of a plan. It's leading to one thing. It's leading to complete and total tyranny of this country. And that's the bottom line. That's the fact of the matter.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking shame.
So
And America's asleep at the wheel.
right. So, since COVID, I mean, this has been going on in the works forever. People have always said, oh, it's someone else's responsibility. Someone else is taking care of it. And then during COVID, that showed who is controllable and who can think for themselves, or who is gonna be outspoken and who is gonna go along with it. And I understand we all had something click. We didn't know until things started really transpiring that, wait a minute, that's not right, that's not right. Some of us, what they call it is cognitive distancing. When someone cannot, it's a false reality, and they put everything into believing it. And I understand what's on the news. You can only take about, maybe, I don't know, I'm just guesstimating, maybe 5%, or some of the humanitarian stories or whatever.
What's the
But
news?
so buy more chickens, buy more ammo.
Right,
Well,
that's it.
That's it.
I think everybody that's out there understands now that the news is manufactured. It's not. You get about 10% of real news, and we have some people out there that are truth tellers and stuff like that. Tucker Carlson does a pretty good job, but what's his audience? It's mainly people on our side. People that are on the left are not watching him. They don't want to believe the stuff that he's saying, so they're not going to watch it. And same thing with us. I mean, we're not going to watch CNN because we know most of it is bullshit. The stuff that's on there, it's designed to either put us in fear of something. It's designed to make us mad at the other side. It's designed to divide us, as far as we can possibly go. And I think that, was it Obama who gave? Obama basically made it legal to use propaganda. And
he did. He signed legislation.
Yeah. And,
Yep.
Up until that
Taking
point,
accountability away from the media.
yeah. And up until that point, we hadn't had that big of a problem, or it hadn't been as noticeable.
Yeah.
And, not saying that it wasn't happening beforehand, but it was not as much in your face.
You know what, bro? Why didn't Trump reverse that? See, that's one thing. You would think one of the first things he would have done, with the media going after him as hard as they did. Why didn't he reverse that?
Well, here's the thing, and I've been thinking about this too. His cabinet was a mess. He was firing people as fast as he was putting them in there. And here's the thing. I think that he got in there and he was in such a hurry to try and make some changes that, and I'll tell you why I think this, because I noticed it happening here in Anchorage too. But what I think happened is, I think he trusted, or he went with people that he thought knew what was going on. And I think he trusted the wrong people. Not everybody, but I think a big majority of them. I mean, look at Mattis, right? He was supposed to be one of the best generals out there, and Trump really regarded him, and he turned out to be a liberal piece of crap.
Yeah.
He was for the bump stock ban. He was for a couple other things, and he was our defense secretary, and he didn't back the president. And then you got Milley in there, and Milley was hiding we find out later that he was hiding the nuclear codes from Trump. There was just a lot of people in the cabinet that Trump rushed to get in there. And I don't think that, he fully vetted them or really knew what they were about, and they fooled him. Trump is pretty proud, but I think that, I think he understands that he got swindled on a couple things. And I think that even is the case even with his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. I think that, he was trying to do the right thing. And I think that the people that were in there, I don't think he realized how deep the swamp ran.
Right. I agree.
Again, keep in mind.
We can speculate,
Well, keep in mind, Trump
you
was.
don't know, like you said, it could have been a couple of bad of his cabinet, and then conspiring or leaking things, to the media or whatever.
Yeah, no, I think that everybody that goes into Congress and everybody that goes into the cabinet of the White House, I think they're all out for one thing, and that's themselves. They're not out for the country. I mean, you look at certain people. I mean, Trey Gowdy, everybody regarded Trey Gowdy as one of the best legislators out there. And what's he done ever since he retired? I mean, he hasn't done anything. You barely see him on any of the news shows anymore. He would have been a great speaker back in his heyday, but whenever when Trump appointed him, whatever counselor or whatever it was that they appointed him, he didn't do anything.
He was a superstar too up until that point.
Yeah. I mean, I think that certain things, certain people got to by money and stardom and fame and stuff, and then they just fall apart. And
Right.
I think that, you got people in there like Matt Gaetz. He's got no agenda. I mean, he wants what's right for the American people. He's from Florida. His state runs well. You see the governor that's in there, and they've got things going the way that they want it to go. And they're cutting down on the illegals. They're sending illegals to Kamala Harris's house, which I think is brilliant, honestly. I think that they need to send more and put them on the front of the White House, but that's just me. I think that you've got certain people that are in there that really want to do the right thing. And those are the ones that seem to be the ones that never really gain any steam. I think Gaetz, this time, he put the spotlight on himself. And I know there's a lot of people that I'm friends with that don't like him. And I don't know why. He's never done anything that's gone against the American public. He's always fought for things.
He looks like Johnny Bravo.
Well, yeah.
With the teeth and the hair.
Yeah, he sure does.
And he's outspoken, and he's a younger guy. And I think that, you see people like Mitch McConnell in there that needed to be gone 20 years ago.
Right.
So.
Well, that's the good old boy system, the establishment that needs to be gotten rid of, okay? Because they're doing dirty deals and, creating alliances that are totally self-serving, And I understand that it's not everybody's jam to sit down one evening and read a bunch of legislation and, scan what happened in committees and stuff. I get that. However, doing nothing is not doing us any good, or being holed up in the house.
Well, the one good thing about this whole last week where they were fighting for the speakership, how everybody understands how it works, right? Something's got to go through the House, then it gets to the Senate, then it gets to the president, and then he signs a bill. Well, without one half of that Congress, nothing could be really passed and sent on unless it was an executive order. So this fight slowed them down by at least a week, right? So I think that if anything else, I think that kept them from passing all kinds of crap that they probably really wanted to pass during the holiday. So I'm glad that the 20 people stuck up and put their necks out there for us, and I'll regard them. I think Gaetz is a good guy. I don't think that there's anything. I don't have anything against the guy. I'll say that. Same with Boebert Young. I think that she went with her gut, and I think that was great. There's a couple other ones. Chip Roy, he did a pretty good job of holding the ground, and there was a few other ones that were pretty instrumental in that too. But as soon as I started seeing that they were starting to vote for him, I knew it was over.
One thing about the whole ordeal was we've seen the Democratic Party have 212 votes the entire time.
Yeah.
And for the 20 that held together and stood against the establishment or had their reasons, I commend them. However, we've got to work together for the good of the American people. And it was already a worked out deal. You've seen some votes during those 3 days fluctuate, but the Democratic Party, they stood side by side, stuck together, had it worked out. My concern was if it continued on, that some of the moderate Republicans would switch over to the Democrats and get it done.
Well,
one of the funniest things though, man, was watching some of the leftist media. What they were saying about these 20 people calling them terrorists.
Mhm.
There is nothing more American than fucking standing your ground for something you believe in. That's the most American thing you could possibly do. And you have these leftist communist media stations and guys like Crenshaw and whoever else was talking shit about these guys, calling them terrorists. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Well, and that's dangerous talk. That needs to stop. You know,
Yeah.
calling patriots terrorists. What about
Right.
what about all the terrorists that are actual terrorists that are walking across the border? Who is at the border?
Amen.
Who's coming over? No, we don't even know.
Amen.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
supposedly, what was it? Biden's going to go down to the border. I doubt he's going to go down to the real border. He's probably
Is he gonna ride a bike?
You're probably going to be on a soundstage somewhere.
he needs to
Right?
we need to have him ride a bicycle, a tricycle down to the border. How funny would that be?
So here lately, there's been a few people that have announced that they're going to run for president. Some of them might get a kick out of it because they don't have a shot in hell. Did you see? You know who John Bolton is?
Yeah.
Okay, he's John Bolton's was originally he was a Bush guy. He was back there when Bush was in there. I can't remember what his role was. I don't know if he was Secretary of Defense or what it
Yeah.
is, but he was heavily
No,
involved with.
Rumsfeld was Secretary of Defense, I think.
Bolton was something to do with this, maybe the CIA or something like that. Anyway, the
Yeah,
guy
it was something.
the guy's a joke, and Trump had him for a little bit, and then he canned him or something. But he's a little bitty. He's like Ross Perot, but retarded. That's the best way to put it. I mean, he's got a little mustache, and his glasses a little bit. He's one of
he's
those
a goofy motherfucker.
Napoleon syndrome types, little bitty guy. He's running, and then Pence is running. He's going to run for president. I don't think Pence has got a shot in hell, but with Pence running it, we'll split the vote. Of course, you're going to have your Murkowski types and your moderate Republicans that'll vote for him. The thing is with Pence is he's a pretty damn good snake oil salesman. He's like McCarthy. I think that he's going to get in there and he's going to have a lot of people vote for him, but most of the stuff he talks about has got no substance. It's he's like Obama. He talks really well. He's a pretty good statesman. At least he sounds like
Yeah,
he is.
looks good. He's appealing to the
Yeah.
eye. He's got it all. He's a salesman.
So when I'm looking forward to the debates between Trump and Pence. That should be interesting.
That'll be fun.
Here's my thing, and I'll back Trump for the most part all the way through this thing. I'm gonna look at it like I did whenever Trump ran to begin with. When Trump ran the first time, the verdict was out on who I was going to vote for, because I wanted to hear what everyone had to say. But the two guys that really stood out to me was Rand Paul and the brain surgeon.
Oh,
Yeah, Rand Paul.
Well, no, he's an eye surgeon. The other guy, the black,
He's not
the black guy,
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson.
Ben- There you go.
And the thing is that I noticed with both of them is Rand, he's running it. He runs as an independent, but he runs on the red ticket, right? And Rand's got a lot of good ideas. He's a pretty smart guy. Ben is a brilliant guy when it comes to like medical stuff, but whenever he started getting pushed, he started tripping over himself. He made some statements in a book he wrote that weren't true, and some other things, so it got him in trouble. But those are the two guys that I liked to start with. But when Trump announced, and I seen that he was going to be like a bull in a china closet, that's when I switched over to Trump, because I knew that that's what we needed. We need someone that'll go into the White House and just shit all over everything. That's my opinion. We need it. We need something rebuilt. We need. It needs to be. We need someone that'll go in there and actually abide by the Constitution. And
Yeah, 100%.
as it's written, and basically tell all those people in Congress, you either do it this way or I'm going to make damn sure you don't get reelected.
Trump did that the first time around. The problem was, like you said, a little while back, he didn't pick the right people underneath him.
Right.
You know, and the most important thing, it's not about I, it's about we. If you don't have a good team, you're not going to succeed. And that's one of the problems he had. He went in there thinking that he could do everything by himself, put a couple key names in there without maybe doing the due diligence, research on their background, having extensive.
I think we're losing Scott. So there, Scott. I think we lost you.
There he is.
I wish I could say I think
Oh, we're losing you again.
going in there and start the fucking just like, you know, like you said, shit on everything. I don't think politics is going to.
Scott, you're starting to lose your connection, man.
I don't think politics is going to do anything. Am I good?
Yeah, you're back.
All right.
We caught about
my
half of what
point
you
is
said.
Point is this. I don't think politics at this point is going to do a damn thing unless we take back our local states, one state at a time. That's the only way. The Fed is fucked. The Fed is so deeply indoctrinated. We're not getting back to government. Once we get a states that stand together, statewide level, and start unifying, then we can get back to government.
Well, I think you're right there. Now here's something that I've been thinking about. One of the things that you still there, Scott? Your video locked up. We losing? Casey's still there, but Scott's gone.
Yeah.
I think Scott's got some connection issues. One of the things that I think needs to happen, and this is something that is rarely happening across the country right now, is I think each state needs to be able to help each other. You know, Oklahoma
Right.
needs to help Colorado. Colorado needs to help Nebraska, you know, so forth and so on, to get the people in there that need to be in there. And I think that we're going to have to, unfortunately, with the way things are, it sucks because nobody's making good money right now. But I think that we're going to have to start sacrificing time and money to travel from state to state. And hold on. That's
Oh,
coming
is he
back
coming
in.
back on?
Yeah.
I think you're right there. Localized power. Hey, you made it back.
Sorry, guys.
You had some
When you
connection
gotta
issues.
go, you gotta go. So, localized power is a stronger hold, and if people concentrate on what's going on in their community, in their town, their local, and then go to county and create those strong strongholds, then we really have more of a push.
You know what's
But one
scary?
thing,
Go ahead.
well,
Sorry.
one thing that we do have going on with the moderates and the rhinos is, hence the name of the show, Revolution Rising. We're already in this revolution. It just hasn't gotten violent yet.
Right,
You know?
exactly. Well, one of the
We're,
things. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
it's all good, man. Hey,
Yeah, go.
go
Say
ahead.
what you said.
Rock,
Well-
paper, scissors.
I beat my kid this weekend at that game 5 times at least. 5 times out of 100, I beat my kid. So the scary thing, one of the tells of the American people right now is how we reacted to these schools pushing sexual perversion and the mask policies, mask mandates in public schools, and the lack of the American parent going in to stand up for their fucking kids.
Being-
If that's not a tell, I don't know what is.
Being
What are we
engaged.
I mean, shit. I don't know how many people, not a lot of people that I know of, got involved, showed up to their school board and got in their face. And the people that did were called terrorists. Once again, that a convenient term the left likes to use so much to label anybody who believes in freedom and the American way. But so few Americans got up and stood for their kids.
Yeah.
And that's where
So
we are.
I do have to brag on one of our residents, a young lady by the name of Grace. Um, our her school was requiring a mask mandate and different things from the kids, and she stood up and spoke out against it, and was she was suspended and also was arrested. And I'm so proud of her for standing up for her beliefs and her rights. You know,
Well,
that's
it's
we
getting
need
harder.
more
It's
grace.
getting harder and harder to be able to do stuff like that. Did you see that Ashley Babbitt's mom was arrested in Washington D.C. yesterday?
Yep.
Yes. What a crock of shit. I mean, the anniversary of her daughter dying, she gets arrested for
Oh.
jaywalking, of all
Yeah.
things, for jaywalking.
Those cops, their names need to be published everywhere so people know who did this.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and the guy that shot Ashley Babbitt too. I don't know if you've seen this or not, but supposedly he had left a firearm in a public bathroom.
He did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
So
Yep.
I mean, this guy, and he didn't get anything. Nothing happened to him.
Shouldn't
No,
that
I
be
think
enhanced?
Medal of Honor. I think Biden
Oh, yeah.
gave him Medal of Honor.
There'll be a ceremony later this
There will.
week.
If
Yeah.
Biden ever gave me a Medal of Honor, I'd melt that fucker down and make some money off of
Right.
it.
Well,
It doesn't mean nothing coming from him.
Right. And they don't. I know Obama gave away a bunch of,
But let,
medals too, and it's
and let people
to
out of
people
prison.
that are really undeserving.
Yeah, I mean, some of it is just an absolute joke. But how long have we been on tonight, guys? We've been on for almost an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, we have. Time
That's-
flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can probably cut it off right there for the night. And good to see you guys again. My throat's starting
Yeah.
to kind of get to where it's getting hard to talk again. So we'll go ahead and shut her down for the night. But thanks for everybody
We'll catch you next week.
that came on and was watching. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. Do us a favor and share the video. And I'll have the podcast links and stuff up here soon. And we'll go from there. But hopefully we're going to try and do this every Sunday. And so people can tune in and keep track of us and all that good stuff. And we'll start having special guests again. And hopefully I'm over the crap that we had. The flu just this year has been bad. So
Yeah.
um,
Well, we're glad to have you back, and
yeah, it's
And
been
COVID free.
yeah, COVID free. Yeah, luckily,
Happy New Year, everybody.
luckily it wasn't COVID. I did do a test or two. So anyway, Happy New
Good.
Year, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And we're going to go ahead and sign off for the night. But thanks again for paying attention, and we'll catch you all next week.
See you next week.